When headlines first exploded about Remy Ma and Papoose's breakup, most folks shrugged and assumed it was just another routine celebrity crash and burn. But off camera, Remy had spent years guarding Papoose's flawless husband brand, staying silent through whispers of cheating, financial drama, and heavy tension simmering between them. Fans once praised their bond as the gold standard of black love, cheering it on without noticing what was actually unfolding. Now that fresh receipts are popping up, the narrative suddenly feels flipped. People are questioning what stayed hidden, what shifted, and why the truth stayed locked away for so long. Remy and Papoose originally sold the world that black love storyline. Remy Ma was seen as the fearless, confident, streetwise queen straight out of Bronx, carrying that terror squad energy. She blended danger and desire in a way that effortlessly set her apart, radiating strength, beauty, and authenticity all at once.
You the dumbest broad of the year. You the messiest bitch of the year. I'm gonna start giving out motherfucking awards my damn self and mailing them to you bitches. I'm gonna make a fucking award that say Own Papoose Dick Award and send it to the bitch who be on his dick the most. I got something for y'all. I got something for y'all. I got something for y'all. And unlike some of y'all.
Lately, Claressa been radiating this awkward, look-at-me energy, clearly trying to mimic Remy Ma's signature vibe. The fierce confidence, the street-style glamour, that's pure Remy. Meanwhile, Papoose had his own street cred as the underground wordsmith, known for razor-sharp lyrics, discipline, and a quiet, commanding presence. Back when Remy's star was on the rise, she didn't just need any man by her side. She needed someone secure enough to let her shine, not feel overshadowed. Someone steady enough to walk beside her, not over her. That's exactly the image Papoose cultivated. The supportive husband, not a rival. The perfect equilibrium. His role wasn't stealing her limelight. It was complementing her. The man who could stand beside a powerhouse like Remy without losing his own edge. That carefully crafted persona defined public perception for years. But many forget, this perfect husband image didn't magically appear after marriage. It began while Remy Ma was still behind bars. To get the full picture, we rewind to 2007, when Remy Ma got into a fiery argument with her friend Makita Barnes-Joseph outside a Manhattan nightclub. Over money, the confrontation escalated quickly. Shots were fired, leaving Makita injured. Remy faced serious charges, including assault and illegal weapon possession, and the fallout changed everything. She was sentenced to 8 years, serving roughly 6 thanks to good behavior and public backing from figures like 50 Cent. And while she was locked up, that's when Papoose's legend really took shape. The story everyone heard? He stood by her relentlessly, visiting nearly every single day. So much so that Remy eventually had to tell him to ease up. A few visits a week would do. That tiny detail? It became a cornerstone of how fans saw him.
Said, I hear the garbage truck. Did you take out the garbage? She gonna kill me, I forgot. I gotta be honest. Now I'm running outside with the garbage in my arms. Open the door, but I forgot to cut off the alarm. The queen mad at me, I'm disgraced. She said those raccoons gonna have that garbage all over the place. We had a bad morning, but the love remains strong. Black love forever, I would never move on.
While Remy Ma served her time, no concrete cheating rumors ever really stuck. Sure, whispers of a possible baby floated around, but nothing was ever confirmed. And let's be real, women behind bars rarely get the kind of loyalty or public love that men do, which made Papoose's devotion look almost unreal. By the time Remy walked out, the public had already crowned Papoose the ultimate loyal husband, and that image became his golden ticket. Post-release, Remy Ma and Papoose dominated every major platform, media tours, interviews, sit-downs, you name it. Every single spotlight highlighted his unwavering loyalty. Remy was a lucky one. Papoose became the poster boy for devotion, love, and what a real man should be. So when everything later exploded between Remy, Papoose, Claressa, and Easy the Block Captain, the public was left speechless. Nobody was curious. They were stunned. From the outside, it looked like Remy had abandoned an unbreakable love, tossing aside something most could only dream of. But that was the story everyone had been sold. And let's face it, that kind of branding only works if no one questions it. Once receipts started dropping and people examined things closer, the perfect fairy tale began crumbling fast. Listen closely to that clip. There's a massive clue in Fat Joe's words. He said all he knew was that he left y'all the night before. Not just him, not just Papoose, but y'all, meaning Papoose and Remy were still a couple right before the chaos hit. That tiny detail changes everything. It proves that just before the drama exploded, Papoose was still publicly standing as Remy's husband. Once you realize that, a lot of what Remy said afterward stops sounding impulsive and starts looking reactive. And don't forget, Fat Joe isn't some random industry buddy. He's part of that tight-knit circle of peers who know Papoose and Remy intimately. Shared history, values, deep connections beyond what the public sees. That's why Claressa's involvement doesn't really fit, culturally, socially, or generationally. When someone tries stepping into a bond built over decades while their own connection is still fresh and shaky, it's only a matter of time before things fall apart. From a strategic, analytical angle, Claressa and Papoose's whole setup was doomed from the start. The energy was shaky from day one, so when the collapse finally happened, shock was optional. Look at the timing, the people involved, and who was really in those rooms, and suddenly, the chaos makes perfect sense. At some point, the story stopped feeling messy and started fitting together. The public meltdown kicked off when rumors claimed Papoose allegedly knocked out Easy the Block Captain over an affair with Remy Ma. Proven or not, it didn't matter. The internet exploded. Social media went nuclear, and of course, Remy bore the brunt. She got painted as the ultimate villain, a younger artist, a supposed affair, and a loyal husband who'd allegedly been ride or die forever. Fans were stunned. That one-sided narrative dominated for a while, until Remy started pushing back. She got tired of carrying a story that conveniently left out too many truths. Here's the kicker. Being real means admitting Remy herself helped craft that perfect husband image. She spent years defending Papoose's flawless brand, covering for him, and hiding any imperfections from the public eye. So when the tables turned, the public could only see her as the bad guy. And that wasn't by accident. She built that image right alongside him. Powerful branding comes with consequences, and when illusion cracks, people rarely want to see the full picture. That doesn't make Remy wrong, but it explains why the backlash hit so hard. When the drama finally exploded and Remy Ma began dropping her own messages, things got chaotic fast. The internet lost it, not just over an affair, but over layers of messy truth. One batch revealed Claressa Shields in Remy's inbox asking for advice, how to dress, style her hair, enhance her look, how to show up as a woman. That alone had everyone shook. Then came the second set, messages of Papoose begging for attention, validation, flowers, calls, affection, literally asking to be chosen.
My son lived with his father for a year or two while I was away, and with my mother, who the entire time I was sending the money from jail.
The clash between those two sides hit like a bombshell. Because once you remember that Papoose had just been out with Remy Ma the night before the drama exploded, exactly as Fat Joe confirmed, the timeline suddenly makes total sense. Claressa's insecurity, her constant need for attention, her desperate bid to be seen. It all starts adding up. Up until that point, the public was still clinging to the heartbreak narrative, thinking Remy had destroyed black love. That was a headline everyone bought into. But nobody saw Claressa Shields stepping into the spotlight, practically jumping into the group chat to throw shots at a man's wife. That twist flipped the story upside down. And no one expected Easy the Block Captain to start running his mouth recklessly, especially with the rumors swirling that Papoose allegedly knocked him out. Suddenly, this wasn't just a scandal. It became a full-blown collision of ego, insecurity, and leftover drama that had been simmering for years. Let's be real. Claressa Shields has somehow turned this into one of the wildest relationship disasters since Cyan Rock and Blueface. But rather than piling on chaos, it's worth slowing down and breaking apart. When things get this messy and this public, it's rarely about love. It's about unbalanced emotions. And Claressa clearly has plenty of those boiling over. Time to dig deeper. Not to drag anyone, but to understand the forces at play. Validation versus belonging, power versus proximity, ego versus security. The dynamics that turn relationships into explosions. Strip away the noise, and the picture clears up. This drama may still be scorching and messy, but through that lens, it finally starts making sense. Then Remy Ma dropped a bomb that changed everything. She revealed she was a provider in the marriage, even while locked up. That revelation shattered the polished fairy tale image. Realizing that their lifestyle, stability, and even that picture-perfect couple image were all funded by her money makes the loyalty story hit differently. It no longer gleams with romance. It's complicated. When a woman carries a financial weight and shields a public image, what looks like devotion can actually be dependence, and sacrifice may just be survival strategy. Timing becomes everything. Right after Remy kicked Papoose out and exposed the truth, he immediately cozied up to Claressa Shields, who just so happens to have serious money. That doesn't automatically prove intent, but it certainly raises eyebrows. When financial security disappears in one place and appears in another, it's fair to question what's really going on. Is it love, or just opportunity dressed up as affection? Suddenly, the story stops being about heartbreak and starts revealing a deeper game of power, access, and survival.
You're jealous of Claressa Shields. Just say that. You're jealous. You wonder why it's not you. Well, how come it's not me that got the house? Why is not me with Papoose? Why is not me?
Now, let's dive into something most people totally miss, the money trail. Back in 2006, Papoose couldn't stop bragging about signing a $1.5 million deal with Jive Records. For nearly 2 decades, he's been calling himself the $1.5 million man. But think about it. 20 years later, he's still flexing that same old advance. According to Papoose, he took the check and then bounced from the label without ever completing the deal. His reasoning? Why continue when he'd already gotten the money he wanted? In the music world, that's not savvy, it's a red flag. Some folks even speculate he never planned to fulfill the contract at all, that the cash, not the art, was the real prize. That says a lot. Opportunism over ambition. Now, pair that with what Remy Ma later revealed about being the true provider, and suddenly the pattern is crystal clear. What really raises eyebrows is how Papoose publicly flexed about supporting her kids and handling finances, all while having power of attorney over her money. Because let's be real, managing someone else's funds and spending from that pool isn't generosity. It's access. Viewed that way, the whole hero husband image looks far less noble and way more self-serving. That doesn't make him a hero, it makes him a steward. And turning stewardship into self-praise? Big red flag, not a flex. This isn't about throwing shade, it's about patterns. From his label deal to his marriage, the finances, and the timing of these new connections, the same story keeps replaying in slightly different forms.
I had to get back to work. That's why I only visited her every day for a year straight. But after that, I had the space to visit out to like 3 times a week. Never missed a Christmas, never missed a Mother's Day, never missed a single holiday.
And to keep it real and fair, both Remy Ma and Papoose have admitted to cheating. According to both sides, multiple people were involved. So this isn't a tale of one angel versus one villain. It's about choices and accountability. Let's be honest. Any woman would be furious coming home to a man who blew through her money, messed around with other women, and still had access to her life in every way. That's the part most people skip. This wasn't some cold, distant marriage. They still had conjugal visits, real intimacy, and plenty of chances to do right by each other. The connection was there. The opportunity to choose differently was there. He just didn't. And that brings us to the question Claressa Shields should really be asking herself. If a man couldn't stay faithful to his wife, a woman he shared finances, history, and public vows with, even while getting monthly visits, what makes you think he'll stay loyal to you during a 6-week break for your boxing career? That's not hate. That's straight up math. And when the math adds up, the fantasy always cracks under pressure. That's why this whole situation doesn't read like romance. It reads like projection, hope, and denial all crashing into cold, hard reality.
Anybody crashing out, I'm checking them. Let them know. Don't come mess with me. I won't mess with you. They're going to take these videos and put them everywhere.
So when Papoose claimed that Remy Ma was involved with an old prison mate, it sounded absolutely wild, especially since they were still having conjugal visits at the time. But the bigger question is, why even bring it up? By then, both parties had already moved on. He was with Claressa Shields, and she was with Easy to Block Captain. The score was even. So what was the point of tossing? And yet another messy accusation? Simple deflection. When someone starts losing control of the narrative, they stop debating facts and start throwing dirt. Shocking claims get dropped to make the other person look worse, even when it changes nothing. This situation wasn't truly threatening Papoose emotionally. It was threatening his identity. As Remy said, black love wasn't just a hashtag for him. It was his brand, his moral high ground, his cultural image. Once that affair went public, the mask didn't just slip, it had to come off completely. Sharing extra details wasn't about honesty. It was about damage control. When your reputation is built on loyalty and that loyalty starts to look fake, the only move left is distraction. He needed to shift attention from his own actions and make the public fixate on Remy's. That way, he could keep the black love crown shiny, at least in appearance. For years, everyone saw him as Remy's knight in shining armor. But once the truth surfaced, that armor didn't gleam anymore. Remy Ma has been keeping it low-key lately, grinding on her work and quietly building her circle. But she hasn't been silent. She's fought back multiple times, especially when Papoose tried spinning the story. Like that time he posted a photo claiming Remy spent Christmas with easy-to-block Captain and left the baby alone. Remy didn't waste a second. She dropped a timestamp video proving she was home with the baby. And yes, Pap was there too. She wouldn't go through all that effort just for attention. That move screamed, "Here's the truth. Stop twisting it." But sadly, Claressa Shields still isn't catching the message. Her ego is too loud, and instead of seeing the red flags for what they are, she's standing by a man whose actions have already told the real story.
Because how do you know who want Papoose? Do you go to his page and see all the women that be commenting on his stuff?
Claressa Shields is young, ambitious, but clearly surrounded by people who aren't helping her step back and see the situation clearly. And honestly, that's sad, because Remy Ma didn't just drop one bomb. She went on to reveal another alleged secret relationship Papoose was juggling while still living under a roof and publicly dating Claressa. The woman known online as Cali Girl was reportedly spotted on the Africa trip. The same trip Remy had been explaining to Claressa in real time. That's huge, because the timeline doesn't lie. This wasn't confusion. It was confirmation, straight up overlap. And let's be real. The Cali Girl situation adds another layer, showing yet another woman with a completely different energy and look compared to Claressa Shields. That's not shade, it's a pattern. Which begs the question, is Claressa even his type for real? Here's the truth. Remy spent years protecting Papoose, polishing his image and shielding him from backlash. She made him look like the perfect husband while behind closed doors. His behavior told a totally different story. Now that the curtain's pulled back, the emerging picture is of a man who's opportunistic, unfaithful, manipulative, and obsessed with keeping his image above all else. And Claressa? What's happening doesn't look like love. It looks like ego running the show. She's ignoring red flags, chasing validation, and diving headfirst into a man who's still legally married, still tangled in multiple situations, and still trying to revive a stalled career. He's got kids near her age, a messy past, and too many open emotional tabs. Meanwhile, Claressa is out here auditioning for a wife role while he's clearly running game and keeping his options open. From a psychological and behavioral perspective, this setup isn't sustainable. This isn't hate. It isn't bias. It's just the math of behavior. Patterns don't lie, but people sure do. Laid out clearly, this was never a love story. It was a branding experiment that collapsed under pressure. Lesson? Always watch the patterns. They reveal the truth long before anyone admits it. Peel away the romance, the social media noise, and the carefully curated image. And what's left isn't confusion. It's clarity. This saga wasn't just about cheating. It was about identity, power, access, and controlling the narrative. Remy Ma didn't suddenly turn bitter. She just stopped protecting the illusion. The mask slipped, and the truth no longer fit the story sold for years. Once the black love shield fell, everything real beneath it came spilling out. And as for Claressa, this isn't a fairy tale victory. It's a warning. It shows exactly what happens when ego drowns out common sense, and the craving for validation feels more urgent than spotting patterns. Love doesn't require auditions. Loyalty doesn't need competition. Healthy relationships can't thrive in secrecy or denial. This wasn't romance. It was image management. And that facade collapsed. Patterns never lie. They reveal everything every single time. And just to be clear, this entire breakdown is based on public info, statements, interviews, messages, and timelines. No one here is being accused, diagnosed, or condemned. This is pure analysis, behavioral, psychological, and contextual. Opinion-based commentary, nothing more, nothing less. And of course, if new info drops, perspectives can always shift. That's logic. If you've ever watched a relationship implode and realized the red flags were waving the whole time, you get exactly what we're unpacking here. It's all in the patterns, baby. Let's keep it grown and respectful. Share what stood out to you in the comments. We'll talk it out. If this breakdown resonated, hit that like button, comment your thoughts, and subscribe. Even if you didn't vibe with it, subscribe anyway. You'll be back for content that entertains or makes you think. If this video hit, hype it up, show some love, and join the discussion in the comments. I'll be there too, ready to break it all down with everyone. At the end of the day, this story was never just gossip. It's about truth, patterns, and the collision of image versus reality. Strip away the noise, and what's left is a reminder. Not everything that shines is solid, and not everyone who smiles publicly is honest behind closed doors. Remy, Papoose, Claressa shields. This saga proves how love, ego, and branding can blur until no one knows what's real. It's messy, it's human, and it's a lesson in watching actions, not captions. Pay attention, and the truth always speaks louder than the image. So if this breakdown made you think, like, share, comment, and subscribe to keep the conversation alive. Whose side got lost in the noise? What pattern stood out the most? Don't just watch. Analyze, question, and learn. Stay tuned for more deep dives, real talk, and the truth behind the headlines. Thanks for watching.